brothers and sisters, what is the chief purpose of human life on earth? Or in other words, what is your purpose in life? What is the chief purpose in your life? When I usually ask this question to people usually respond with education, getting a job, earning money, taking care of their family, and similar things. But brothers and sisters, our life doesn't just consist of our body, but naturally and commonly, all of us are most of the time concerned about our physical needs. We labor a lot, we work hard, we study, we get a job, we earn money, and take care of this body, and also take care of our family. And most of our life, we are occupied with the physical aspect of our life on earth. We need to eat food, we need clothes to wear, we need shelter, and for these things we labor hard. So we spend all of our life on earth for just these things. But there has got to be something much more beyond just this physical aspect of our being. Life is not just about our body. It's not just about eating and drinking and having comfort and pleasures in this world. The same goes for our problems in life. The problems we have in life, whether it's sickness, financial difficulties, the lack of money, debts, and whatnot. All these problems are temporary. They're not going to be there with us forever and ever. And so are our comforts and pleasures. No matter how much pleasure we have, no matter how much comfort we have physically on this earth, it's all going to end with death. It's all going to end with the grave. So let's read a scripture from God's Word. 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 24 and 25. Here God's Word says this: "For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. But the word of the Lord endureth forever. And this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you." So God's Word says all flesh is as grass, or in other words, all human being in their physical aspect as flesh, as their body is as grass. And all the glory of man is as the flower of grass. Whether it's our educational qualifications, our intelligence, our knowledge, our beauty, our wealth, our political or social influence on people, all these things are just like flowers on grass. When the grass dries up, these flowers fall away. That's all our glory is, physically. But for this physical body, we labor so hard. We labor so hard. When I say this, I don't mean we are supposed to be lazy and not work. That's not what I mean. What I do mean is this: that our body, the physical aspect of our life, or the physical needs like food and drink, clothing and shelter, physical comfort, and all these things are just like what we have in a seat in a bus. When you get on a bus, it's not to sit inside the bus. It is to use that bus to get somewhere. When you hop on a bus, it is to get to some place. So you're using that bus as a means of transport to get to that place. But while you're on that journey, you use a seat to sit. Or else if you don't get a seat, you'll have to stand. At least you need the floor of that bus or a place in that bus to engage in that journey, to to journey and get to that place. But it is not to have a place in the bus or have a seat in the bus that you enter the bus. It is rather to get to that destination. You're using the seat in the bus or the place in the bus as a means to achieve that end. So in the same way, this body, the physical aspect of our life is just that. This is not the chief goal of our life. To survive in this physical world, with this physical body, we need food and drink. We need clothing and shelter, yes, just to survive. Just like we need a place in the bus or a seat inside it to complete our journey. And it would always be preferable to have a good seat, clean, big enough, and with soft cushion, that we would have a comfortable journey. In the same way, it would always be preferable to be comfortable in our earthly life. Yes, but that's not the chief purpose in life. But the sad thing is, most of our life is spent away just working for the seat. Nobody would enter a bus to just enjoy that seat in that bus. No, that would be so foolish. That would be so crazy. But sad to say, that is how we human beings are. We spend very little thought, if any, about what is the chief goal in my life. Most say this, that you set a goal in your life. You dream a dream or set a goal and chase it, run after it, labor and achieve it. What kind of goals do we set? Everything ends with the grave. All the goals that we set, whether it's a job or a great ambition, or maybe some future plan for your family or something of that sort, everything ends with death. If not with your death, with somebody else's death. So it all has to do with this earthly life. We don't see anything beyond that. And if at all we talk about the afterlife, we don't want to talk about such things. We don't want to talk about death. We don't want to talk about what happens after death. Well, I'm not getting there, but I want to start from here. Brother and sister, your life is precious and your life has a great purpose. That's what I want you to think about. And I started by asking you this question: what is the chief purpose in your life? And most probably your answer would be to get a job, to finish your education, or get a good spouse, a husband or a wife, and start a family. Or take care of your family right now. Take care of your children, nourish them, bring them up in a good way, and live a good life. That's what you would have as an answer. But I want to share with you this. This is not everything. All of these things are just superficial things in your life, the surface level things, just like a seat inside a bus. That's all it is. What you're talking about is just like a seat in the bus. This is not your destiny. This is not the main thing in your life. So naturally, your question to me would be, what then is the chief purpose in life? Okay, to understand that, we need to understand that we have not come to this world on our own. We have a maker or a creator, or we can also call him a designer. Just like when you see a house, you can easily make out that there is someone who planned this house. We see the planning in the house, the way the rooms are made, the structure of the hall, the kitchen and things like that, the outward structure of the house. When we see all that, when we see the design of the house, we can perceive, even if we haven't seen the designer, we can perceive somebody has planned this house. In the same way, when we see a vehicle, when we see a cell phone, we can see the intelligence behind it. Somebody has planned it and made this. The same goes for the universe around us. When we see trees and plants, when we see animals and birds, when we see our own body, we see design everywhere. So all these things cry out and tell us that there's got to be a creator behind these things. There's got to be a designer behind this design. In fact, God's word speaks about this. Let's turn to that scripture in Romans chapter 1. Romans chapter 1, verse 19 onwards. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath shown it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So God's word says that the invisible things of him, means the invisible things about God, are clearly seen when we look at the things he has created. When we look at the sun, how it sets, how it rises at the right time. When we look at how clouds pour down rain, and the rain seeps into rivers and then into the seas, and then water evaporates back into the clouds, and the water cycle. If the clouds were to pour down rain just like we pour out buckets of water from a bucket, then we wouldn't exist here. We wouldn't be able to live here. But clouds pour down rain in the form of drops so that we can exist. So God has created this amazing system. Not just this water cycle, there are so many things like that. Look at our body. As we grow, these 10 fingers in our hands, they grow together in symmetry, in the symmetrical way, equally, symmetrically. We don't plan this. When we eat food, it just gets digested, it gets distributed all through our body, and our body grows all together symmetrically. Our hands, our legs, everything goes symmetrically, and the hair of our eyebrows don't grow just like the hair of our head. There are so many things like that. So when we see all these things, we can clearly make out there's got to be a maker. There's got to be a maker. We call him God because he's above all. He is above all. He made us all. That is who God is. One thing about God is he is the creator. He created everything out of nothing. Now, why am I talking about the creator now? Because we started off with this question. What is the chief goal of our life on earth? Generally, as human beings on this earth, what is the chief purpose of our life on this earth? To understand that, we need to understand that we have been made by this creator God, the Almighty God. Why? Because just like when we create things, we have a purpose behind us creating them. We created vehicles like buses, motorbikes and things like that to ride on them and to use them as means of transport, to travel from place to place. We created things like smartphones and other gadgets to be used to call each other, to communicate with each other and do some other things. So I'm using this camera to record this message. And this camera was created by man with that purpose, to shoot videos, to shoot photos and things like that. So in the same way, our designer has also got to have had a purpose when he created us. When he created man on this earth, then you would say we came from our parents. God didn't create us. Well, they came from their parents, right? Your parents came from their parents, and they were born from their parents. So as a bare minimum, we have got to have had one set of parents, a pair of parents, or a mother and a father on this earth for human life to have expanded and come to this point. And then we have this theory of evolution. I don't want to go there, but I want you to think. If the theory of evolution was right, monkeys turning into men, there would be different phases of monkeys turning into men. If that were true, even today there would be people that are fully monkey. There would be the second phase where they are a little like man, and then there would be the third phase where they are a little more like man. It's like you have that picture you're usually shown when you're taught evolution, right? Monkeys turning into man, stage by stage, in different stages. So if that were the case, just like we look at human beings today, we see human beings in all stages of life. I mean, as a baby, and then a toddler, then a young boy, then a teenager, then we see a grown boy, a young man, then an old man, an adult, and then an old man. We see all stages of life on earth existing because this is happening all the time. But evolutionists would say this happens for a long period of time. That's the reason we don't find such stages. Still, even if it's a long period of time, what happened to these people who haven't crossed those 4 or 5 stages and reached stage 6 where they are fully man? What about those people? They can't disappear all of a sudden. So today you find fully evolved. We can't use the word evolved because evolution, in the sense of, in this aspect, the word evolution can be used in other contexts. It's not like evolution can't be used at all. But when you say that man evolved from monkeys, that's wrong. It's totally false. Not on the grounds of religion. It can't be proved scientifically either. It's in a way the religion of the atheistic scientists. They have faith in evolution. They can't have faith in God. They don't want to believe a God they can't see. But they are willing to believe in an evolution they can't produce scientific evidence to support. So what I'm saying is, there's got to be different stages of evolution to be witnessed right in front of our eyes if evolution were true. So there would be people who are totally monkeys. That we have monkeys even today on earth, but we don't have stage 2 and stage 3 and stage 4 where monkeys are a little more like man and a little more like man, then stage 4 and stage 5. We don't have that. So that clearly tells us nothing is evolving into nothing else. Yes, each species differs in characteristics. Some monkeys are different from other monkeys, but they don't evolve from one kind of an animal into another kind of an animal. A bird doesn't become a fish, or a fish doesn't become a bird. A monkey doesn't turn into a man. That doesn't happen. But their characteristics. For example, in the case of dogs, some dogs evolve through breeding, the way they breed, the kind of dogs that breed. They produce different kind of dogs, but they don't become something other than dogs. They remain dogs nonetheless. Different kinds of dogs, yes, but dogs. That same thing applies to us humans as well. We human beings, we differ in many ways, but still we are human beings. Our skin color differs, our hair color, many other characteristics differ. And when we have children, they carry our characteristics. But we don't turn into something else other than human beings. We stay human. So that's about evolution. I don't want to expand on that any further. I think this would be sufficient. So what I am trying to get across to you is this. We have a maker. We have to face this fact. I'm not trying to shove this down your throat by force. You're free to reason. You're free to think. And you're free to express your doubts and questions. You can email me or you can call me. You can comment down below this video and you can communicate. So you're free to think. I'm not forcing you to believe this without any logic, without any foundation. So there has got to be a creator who created you, and we call him God because he is above all. That is what God means, the supreme being. So when God created you, he must have created you with a purpose. So in order to know what that purpose is, we need to know him. We need to get connected to him. We need to get connected to him. But today, man is so far from God. Scripture speaks on this in Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1 verses 2 and 3. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. This passage speaks immediately about Israel, but this also applies to the rest of humanity. It's not just about Israel. The context is Israel, but the same truth is true regarding all of us. All of man is so far away from God. They don't know God. When animals know their masters, whether it's an ox, whether it's a donkey, we have the archaic word here, ass, which means donkey. So whether it's an ox, a donkey, a dog, these animals can recognize their master. But we human beings, we are so intelligent. We have invented so many things, so many wonderful things. We rule this planet. We control so many things on this planet. We have so much influence on this planet. Yet, we don't recognize our master. Why? Because he is far from us. He is far from us. The ox, the donkey, they can see their master. They can hear his voice. But we can't see our master. We can't hear his voice with our ears. Yes, we can hear his voice in our conscience. We can see him in a different way, but we can't see him with the eyes of our flesh. We can't see him directly. We can't hear his voice. So in that way, he is far from us. Our Creator loves us. He has created us in a special way. He has loved us in so much so that he provides us all that we need on this earth. He gives us water, air to breathe. All that we need in this world, he has made available to us. He has made life possible on this planet by keeping this planet in such a way. Not too hot, not too cold. Keeping all the conditions on this earth in such a way that life would be possible. So he is sustaining us. He is preserving us. He cares about us. That tells us that he loves us. Yet, he's so far from us. Why? Because we have the sin issue in our life. We have the sin issue in our life. You know, in the world today, there are so many issues, so many problems. We think about all of them, but we don't think about this root problem. The great issue in the world today is sin or evil. But the more precise word to be used would be sin. Evil can mean some other things too. So sin, or that evil nature in man, is the problem. God is holy, He is pure, He is righteous. There is no sin or evil in Him. He has no evil nature in Him. But we human beings, we are innately sinful. What do I mean by that? You don't need to be taught how to lie. You don't need to be taught how to steal or cheat people. You don't need to be taught how to hurt people. But you need to be taught how not to hurt people. You need to be taught not to lie, not to steal, and not to do all these wrong things. Because you are naturally disposed to do such things. You don't need to be taught to do wrong things. You naturally do them. So it's in our very nature, right from our birth, to do wrong things, to do sinful things, like lying, stealing, cheating people, hurting them, and all kinds of things, even murder. So why do we do such things? Why is that nature inside of us? So we are innately sinful, but God is holy. That is the reason why we can't have our relationship with God. We will talk about this in much detail in days to come, if the Lord permits, in the messages we will be uploading in the future. But this evening, I want you to think, we have a Creator, and He created us with a purpose. And in order to know the purpose of our life, we must know Him. We must know Him. So in the middle of all the rush of life, whether you're a teenager, whether you're studying in a college or a school, whether you're employed in a job, wherever you are in life today, make up your mind to know your Creator. Realize the importance of knowing your Creator. This is not just some boring story meant for some secluded group of people who are so interested in religion. It's not that. It's relevant to all of us human beings. We all have a Creator. Unless we know Him, we can't know why we are here. And if we don't have the knowledge of that purpose, the great purpose for which we are here, our life has no meaning, no real meaning. We might think we do have meaning in life. What's the meaning in your life? Okay, you're going to earn money, you're going to eat and drink, enjoy your life, and then what? You're going to depart. So if you look at this planet, look at this world with a macroscope, look it from a far distance, you see a batch of human beings coming to this earth through birth and leaving this earth, and another batch comes. So we call them generations. One generation comes, another goes. One generation comes, another goes. And then we have this story that we'll come back again and again as cows and crows and other animals and other human beings. So just to get that point across to you, just look at yourself. Your body has a brain. When you die, this brain doesn't vanish. That brain still stays there. But you don't have any memory of who you are, what you are inside that brain. Right now it's there because your spirit is inside you. When you die, your spirit leaves this body. And in that spirit is your memory, is your identity, who you are, your personality. All that you know about yourself, your emotions, your likes and dislikes, your desires and ambitions, your aspirations, and all that is inside that spirit. As long as that spirit stays in your physical body, your brain has all that. When your spirit departs, nothing is inside this body. It's just as good as dead. It is containing nothing apart from the physical thing, your body. That's all. It doesn't have any feelings. It doesn't have any memory of who you are. And this same spirit, if it were to take another form, like a crow or a cow or something of that sort, if that were true, each of us or many of us would have that memory saying, yes, I was such and such an animal in my previous life, or I was such and such a person in my previous life. But none of us have that memory. None of us have that memory. This clearly tells us there is no truth in this story. This is just a myth. We don't come again and again. We call this reincarnation. Reincarnation is totally false, brothers and sisters. And some might say, there are some people who claim that. I know incidents where, I know one incident where a girl started claiming she was a wife of somebody at certain time. And then she said, at that time I bought a sari and I kept that sari in that box. You can go there and check. And they saw it and it was true. And they started saying, this is the proof of reincarnation. And then some people laid hands on that girl and prayed and cast out that devil. Actually, it was a devil or an unclean spirit inside her, making this, deceiving people like this. So a demon or a devil or an unclean spirit can fool us, because unclean spirits are all around us. They can see us, they know our names. So when we die, they can fool us into thinking that they are them. They are such and such a person. So they can pretend to be a human being who has died, and they can fool us. So that's what was happening. So when the devil was cast out, the girl was asked, whose wife were you? I don't know. What are you talking about? She would say. So there are so many such instances where people are fooled into thinking that reincarnation is true. So we are taught this lie, we are taught this story, and we think this is true, but it isn't. It isn't logical. So it's just like we are comforting ourselves with a lie. So don't worry about death. Don't worry about what happens after death. Anyway, you'll have a second chance. Anyway, you're going to come again and again. It's just going to, you just need to be concerned about the here and now, what you need today. You don't need to think about what happens after death. So to pat on our shoulders and to give that comfort, we are furnished with this lie. That's all it is. So brothers and sisters, we are not going to come to this earth again and again. So what was I saying? A batch comes to this earth and it leaves, and another batch comes. We call them generations. So God created this wonderful planet called Earth, and He's bringing in a batch of human beings, and they leave, and another batch comes, and they also leave. And this is happening for centuries and centuries, years and years. So the question facing us is, what's the point behind all of this? When you look at your life like a frog in a pond, okay, you think my life means I need to earn money, I need to take care of my family, and you think this is your life, this is the purpose of human life. It sounds logical and rational to you. But when you look at human life as a whole, and this planet as a whole, it sounds meaningless. So you're going to, I mean, from God's perspective, I'm talking, so human beings are sent into this planet, and they're going to live for about 80 or 90 years at the most, and they're going to earn money, live, eat and drink, and they're going to die. And again, another set of human beings come and they do the same thing and they leave. So what's the point behind all of this? Isn't it a logical question? Isn't it a relevant question? So this aspect of our life can't be the chief purpose of our lives. So God hasn't created us for this. As I said even earlier, this is just equivalent to a bus seat. It's just equivalent to the seat in a bus. We need it just to travel. We need food and drink just to survive here. But that is not the chief purpose why we are here. Okay? So God hasn't put us here just to eat and drink and finish our life. He has a great purpose. To know that purpose, as I said, we need to know Him. And the hurdle before us is sin. And we are going to deal with that in days to come. But this evening, I'd like to end with a sober call to recognize our need to recognize our Maker. We need to know our Maker, our Creator. And also, we need to know that we are going to stand before Him to give an account for our life. How have we lived? If our phone doesn't work, what do? We try to repair it. If it doesn't work even then, we would throw it away, or we would put it for scrap. The same goes for our vehicles. We try to repair them if they don't work, and if it doesn't work even then, we throw it away. So when our purpose is not met, the things we create, when the purpose is not served, we throw them away. But what about us? God created us with a purpose. And unlike these things, like our smartphones or our vehicles, they don't have a will to decide or anything. So they are not accountable. We don't judge them. We can't talk to them. But God has given us a personality. God has given us free will to decide. We make choices. So that makes us accountable before God. Every choice we make, we are held accountable before God. So God is not just going to throw us away just like that. God will bring us before Him, before His judgment seat. Exactly as a criminal or a convict is brought before the judge in a court. And we will be asked to present our case. And we will be judged. We will be held accountable for our actions, our choices in life. Have we fulfilled the purpose with which God created us on this earth? If not, we will be held accountable. We will be condemned to punishment. So therefore, God's word says we need to remember our Creator, especially in the days of our youth, when we are so prone to forget all about God and just enjoy life. When we are young, we are full of vigor, full of life. We want to enjoy all the pleasures in life. We want to be adventurous. We want to enjoy life. So God's word says in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 9 onwards, let's read. Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment. So God's word says, rejoice, do what you want. Fulfill every desire you want. Everything your eye desires, everything your flesh desires. But at the same time, then God's word says, but know this, that God will bring you into judgment regarding all these things. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh. For childhood and youth are vanity. So childhood, not just childhood, but also youth. The lust for pleasure, the lust for these worldly things that you have so much in the youth. Not just limited to the youth, but especially when you're young. I'm not just speaking to the young people, but especially for the young. So even if you're old, even if you're a child, it applies. So then, God's word says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. What that means is there will be a time in your life when you say, my life is over. I'm fed up. I don't want to live anymore. I'm in so much sorrow, so much problems. I don't want to live anymore. I don't have any taste to live anymore. Before that time comes, when you're young, when your body is full of vigor, in thy youth, remember your Creator, because you will stand in judgment before Him. So in verses 13 and 14 of that same chapter, chapter 12, we read, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So what is the duty of man? To fear God, to fear your Creator, to keep His commandments, to know His commandments and to keep them. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So nothing shall be kept secret forever. We can keep things secret from people, but not from God. And on the day of judgment, when all of mankind shall stand before God in judgment, we shall face God face to face, personally, and we'll have to give an account for our life. And nobody will be standing to support us. Not our parents, not our leaders, not our society, not our people group or whatever. We'll have to face God individually, personally. And today we have an opportunity, a precious opportunity to make a difference about that. How we live. What will determine that day is what we decide now. So let us not waste our time. Let us not waste our life. As I said, brother, sister, your life matters. Your life has a great value. Because God has created you with a great purpose. So in your youth, even if you're not young, wherever you are in life, but especially if you're a young person, you have a lot of time ahead of you, if God permits. If God permits. It's not to say that every young person has a lot of time ahead of them, but in your youth, you have that potential and you have good health. Don't waste that on the vanity of just the physical aspect of our earthly life. But remember your Creator and seek God. Seek to know Him. Seek to know His will and draw near to Him. Because at the end of the road, we all have to stand before Him in judgment. He is our final judge. He is not just our Creator, He is our final judge. And He will stand in judgment. He will sit in judgment with us before Him. And He will demand from us an account of our lives. And everything that we have done, whether it's good or bad, all secret things will be brought to light. And we'll have to give an account. So let us seek Him. Let us seek to know Him. And in days to come, if the Lord permits, in the next videos, in the next sermons or messages, I'd like to share with you the great problem or the great issue of sin that stands as a wall of partition between God and man. Why are we so far away from God? Because sin is in us. So we need a deliverance from sin. So let us talk about that in the next messages. Until then, may God bless you abundantly. May God keep you. And see you then.